Good day everyone, I'm just that dude over there, and I wanted to see if I could Nuzlocke every region in order. Now before I get into the rules, I need to explain something. If you go back to my earlier videos, and trust me, there are only like 12 of them, you'll see that I've been uploading this series in a Let's Play style, to a very interesting degree. My point being is that at the rate I was going, I would reach Game Grump levels of episodes before completing the run. So rather than make a million episodes on this challenge, I figure I make an episode per region detailing the important events that take place. So, rules. I'm not doing a hardcore Nuzlocke, mostly because I think they're just too much time and effort. Instead, I just kinda pick and choose which rules I like and finally tune this so that way it's fun for me, but not completely pushover easy. So for starters, I have to play towards level caps. I can't level past the ace of the next gym leader, and this is mostly added so I don't brute strength the problem. I can use items, but X items are banned. If there's one thing I do agree with, it's that X items are kind of broken, and I don't like the idea of just setting up with any Pokemon. Well, I mean you could, but like, not every Pokemon should be able to do that. If grinding ever becomes tedious, I'll use rare candies to level up, since I don't want to waste my time. Oh, and the most important rule of them all. If I ever lose throughout the run, I must restart from the very beginning. I'll start with Pokemon Yellow, and because of my lackluster recording options, play till Pokemon Black and White, or Black 2, White 2. Oh, and to make sure the run stays fresh in case I fail later on, I'll give myself the option to advance to a remake of the game if I've cleared a certain rule. And for clarification, that rule is that I have to clear the generation with the remake in order to play the remake. I can't just play Fire Red if I haven't cleared Pokemon Crystal, you know? Seems a bit dull, in my opinion. If I really wanted to torture myself, I could use level modifiers or randomization, just to mix things up a bit. But for now, that seems a bit too much. So with that all out of the way, let's see if I was able to clear the Pokemon World Challenge. So before I go into the new stuff, I guess I should recap the old stuff for those just tuning in. So I guess we could start with chapter... Actually, no, save that for the Fire Emblem stuff. Waking up in Pallet Town, we head to the tall grass where Oak saves us from becoming barbecue chicken from a rogue Pikachu. After being denied a free Eevee from our rival Quentin Tarantino, the professor gives us the Pikachu I call Dog. My dog paralyzes Quentin's useless Eevee and quickly wraps up the battle with its stab Thundershock. We begin the Nuzlocke after leveling to level 8, and fail our first encounter on Route 1. I see now the flaw of leveling past level 6. Whatever, I'm able to catch a Pidgey on Route 2, but I had to forfeit a Viridian Forest encounter as it was another Pidgey that I killed with a Thundershock. Our last encounter is on Route 22, where we need to get one of these 3 encounters in order to deal with Brock. These encounters consisting of either of the Nidorans or Mankey. The Nidorans get double kick at the level cap of 12. Meanwhile, Mankey gets low kick at level 6. I have more or less a 60% chance to get either Nidoran and an additional 20% chance to get a Mankey. So with our 80% chance of getting something useful, I'm sure we got a Rattata. Great! Now we have to defeat Brock using Pokemon who are going to get devoured by his Pokemon's defense stat. How are we supposed to overcome this? Well, actually, it's a lot easier than it seems. First off, Geodude and Onix contain no moves that can hit Ventus super effectively. The worst move that can be used in this fight is Onix's Bide due to our low damage output. However, here's where I'm going to exploit the game a bit. At level 5, Pidgey learns Sand Attack. Shocking, I know. But in Generation 1, if a Pokemon gets hit with Sand Attack even once, it's game over, as the hit rate gets atrociously bad. If we combine this with Rattata's Tail Whip, we're able to take down the defensive duo slowly, but surely. As we make our way to Cerulean City, we make two important allies in the form of Monster Mash the Sandshrew and Don Munster the Magikarp. These two, while seemingly weak now, will become the eventual backbone of our squad. We also catch a Zubat, but I forgot if I killed the encounter for Mount Moon, and by the time we encounter it, I was still kind of like, but it wasn't until after editing the footage that I realized it was just a late encounter. So we release the Zubat to the team. We take a small break to level the team up to level 16 before exploring the depths of Mount Moon. Here, I learned a new fact about Bug Pokemon in Generation 1. Basically, Bug is super effective on Poison-type Pokemon. While a seemingly trivial fact, it actually helps me train Release on some Rocket Grunts, since Zubat's only real move is Leech Life. We then grab the Dome Fossil that we really don't use, and punish Jesse and James for thinking they can challenge my dog. We then take care of the Cerulean rival and spam potions on Dog to recruit Xenocross, the orphan Bulbasaur. We also pick up Mount Chimney, the Charmander, passing Nugget Bridge, but not before evolving Dawn into a Gyarados. We pass on the encounter for Route 24, and then pick up January the Oddish on Route 25. See, I wanted to see if it was possible to perform the Mew glitch before fighting Misty. So we go down to Route 8 to get our encounter, and it's a Clefairy. Alright, no Mew, but at least we got our dog. Dog's dead. What? While you were grinding, Venonat confused your dog, and it hit itself. Your dog is dead. Come on, man! One of our counters to Misty just... Okay, fine, whatever. I didn't really even like that dog. It was stinky, it's bad, its stats suck, so I'm glad it left the team. Anyway, we sweep Misty with Xenocross, and then move on to the worst gym leader for Kanto. Lieutenant Surge. The hardest part about the Vermilion City Gym is really the gym puzzle. The S-Sand is a breeze, and Monster Mash evolves into Sandslash. This is great because Sandslash is a bit fast and gets access to Slash. This will result in lots of critical hits because of how landing a crit works in Generation 1. I also want to explain something about the differences between Pokemon Red or Blue compared to Pokemon Yellow. Pokemon Yellow tries to follow the anime that was coming out back in, 1997? And you can see that no clearer than when you name your character. One of the three possible names for you to choose is Ash from the anime. And because this is loosely based on said anime, Lieutenant Surge only gets one Pokemon, and it's a level 28 Raichu. For context, Ash and Pikachu have a rival match against Lieutenant Surge and his Raichu, where they lose. After getting healed up, Ash offers Pikachu the choice to evolve to even the playing field, but Pikachu says, "Nah, bish, let me go again." And then Ash wins after Pikachu KOs the Raichu with its tiny hands. We, however, decide that's an inefficient way to battle, and just send out Monster Mash to dig against Raichu. Before leaving Vermilion, we pick up Leonard the Squirtle and walk back to Cerulean to enter the Rock Tunnel. Wow, we're finally caught up to the videos on the channel. Now we can delve into the new stuff. Once we get past here, the map opens up to us thanks to some fresh water we can buy in Celadon City. Our next level cap is 32, so naturally, we take our time to level up Mount Chimney to burn down Erica's garden. We then clear out Team Rocket and obtain the Sylph Scope, which allows us to see the ghosts in Lavender Tower. We use the Pokédoll to avoid fighting the Marowak, and then save Mr. Fuji from Jesse and James. Obtaining the Pokeflute, we capture Juju the Snorlax on the route south of Lavender Town. Now, I misremembered the level cap for Sabrina and Koga. They share the same level caps since you can tackle either of them after Celadon. But I thought the level cap was 40, as it seemed like the most logical increase. But I was wrong. As I went up to Koga confidently with my level 40 Sandslash, I was quickly humbled at the sight of Koga's level 50 Venomoth. Don't get me wrong, I get through with minimal casualties, but I decide to level up before fighting the terrifyingly broken Sabrina. See, Psychic types are really broken in Generation 1, as all of their attacks run on the Special stat, and Special didn't differentiate attack from defense. So essentially, Alakazam, for example, had terrifyingly strong special attack and special defense. And knowing this, you can see why I couldn't afford to go into a fight as underleveled as I was for Koga. So, I leveled up to level 48, but I accidentally make a mistake and overwrite Monster Mash's Slash for Fury Swipes. I know, how do you do that? Well, I was trying to get rid of Scratch, but because I was speeding up to make grinding faster, I accidentally overwrite Fury Swipes with Slash. And now Monster Mash has become 40% worse. Good job, me. We destroy Sabrina with our Amnesia Snorlax before moving to Cinnabar Island to grind before Blaine. However, we return to Cerulean for one quick change in our party. So far, our team consists of Dawn Monster the Gyarados, Monster Mash the Sandslash, Xenocross the Venusaur, Mount Chimney the Charizard, and Ventus the Pidgeot. Oh, and Juju the Snorlax. While this team is fine, it's a bit flying heavy. What? I acknowledge the heaviness, but I'm not going to do anything about it. Instead, I'm going to play into this weakness. I could say it would be Mount Chimney since I'm still rocking Ember, but I decided to switch out Ventus. Ventus has carried us so far into the run, but aside from Bruno, they have little to do to aid our cause. Relax now, child. You have provided us this far. Let me take it from here. I decided to catch Zapdos to add to the party. It has great special and speed, meaning it could take advantage of its electric typing with high critical hit. The only problem that Gabi has, though, is its moveset. It gets Thunder Shock and Drill Peck at base, but the only other move it gets outside of these two is Thunder at its next level. Thankfully, I can patch this up by providing the Thunderbolt TM that we got from Surge, and the Fly HM. We also exploit the game a bit further by giving Xenocross Toxic. A bug in the game's code has Leech Seed increase the damage of Toxic and vice versa per turn it's active. Then to fix up Monster Mash's shaky moves, we teach him the Earthquake TM we found in Silph Co. With the new team, we defeat Blaine and Giovanni and make our way to the Elite Four. Now, the level cap here is 65, as that's the champion's ace level, so I decide that the fastest way to grind up these levels is with some rare candies we conveniently find on my PC, don't ask. So after a feast of rare candies that make me feel like a dirty cheater, we use our remaining money and bag space to prepare ourselves for the oncoming challenge. Our first challenge is Lorelei, the Ice Elite, even though she uses mostly water types. Knowing this, I led with Gabi, while she leads with Dugong. Gabi fries her team into tempura with its artificial light, with the exception of her Jinx. To counter her Jinx, I send in Juju to try and set up and strike with its mighty strength. However, Jinx keeps putting Juju to sleep with its lovely kiss. So rather than use Amnesia, I have Juju go all out and attack as hard as it can, showing off its potential. It takes a bit, but once Jinx starts to thrash about, it was game over and we take our first victory. Next was Bruno and his team of fighting types plus his rock snakes. I led with Xenocross to deal with his leading Onix and other Onix. Meanwhile, Gabi removes Hitmonlee and Chan along with his Matcha and Chan. Honestly, of the elites, he's the easiest and I don't understand why he was the first one we had to deal with. Then comes Agatha, the elite of ghosts. Or, I guess, poison. You know, why do I keep making these insights that everybody already knows already? God. In any case, Monster Mash shifts the plates to drop her team towards the Earth Core. Outside of Golbat, that turns into a cooked meal by Gabi. Our final threat before the champion then arrives. Lance, the dragon-riding elite. Outside of Articuno, the only counter to Lance comes from Jinx or the Dugong Shelter line, with their stab ice moves. However, Monster Mash is able to wreck his Dragonairs with Earthquake. Dawn Monster, on our battles, lances Gyarados and then proceeds to drown his Aerodactyl with Surf. When his Dragonite comes out, I think that Monster Mash should be able to take it out with little worry. It then comes face to face with an oncoming Blizzard. Monster Mash barely survives, and I switch him out for Juju, who straight up punches Dragonite in the face. Now that Lance was cleared, we can move on to our final threat, standing between us moving on to Johto, or starting again from the beginning. Quinton. I didn't mention this before, but depending on earlier battles we had with Quinton, we can change his team composition with his Eevee. If we had lost both battles in the early game, it would make his Eevee evolve into Vaporeon. But since we won both battles, we face off against his Jolteon team. I learned something new about Gen 1 again in this battle too. I had played this game with animations off the whole time, and despite me going into this battle with animations off, animations played regardless. Who knew? We lead with Gyarados, who also drowns Quinton's leading Sandslash. Quinton decides to throw in Alakazam next, so I decide to switch into Juju to set up a kill. Alakazam lands a critical hit, bringing our HP down to 138, which seems like a lot, but we have 313 HP. We respond to this by a crit Hyper Beam landing in his face, which in Generation 1 is physical, bringing Alakazam to the Astral Plane. We do the same with Quinton's following Executor, but have to switch afterwards because we get inflicted with Leech Seed. We switch into Gabi to turn Quinton's Cloyster into Calamari. As Quinton throws out his Ninetales, we throw out our Gyarados to show its head inside of the toilet. Then, his Jolteon comes out. If things had played out like the anime wanted it to be, I would have sent out my dog to honor battle our starters. However, because it's a really inefficient way of battling, and our dog died back on Route 24, we send in Monster Mash to lead us into the Hall of Fame. With that, Kanto is now under my belt, and we need to proceed to Johto for our Johto journeys. I want to apologize for my poor pronunciation of words, and I wanted to give a little heads up for our Johto playthrough. That region won't end until I can complete both parts of the game, which means that we'll need to find more rare candies for our long journey. If you liked what you saw so far, share this video around as it helps people like me who are complete idiots. With all that said, from one stranger to the next, stay safe out there.